Can Donald Trump keep a secret? We are all about to find out. As we mentioned, Trump received his first classified security briefing today. We do know that Donald Trump has kept quiet about how he got New Jersey to finally accept $5 million to settle his $30 million tax bill. It's a saga involving Trump's Atlantic City casinos, and it took years to play out. The New York Times broke the story today. Here's how they described it. The total with interest, they say, had grown to almost $30 million. The state, New Jersey, had doggedly pursued the matter through two of the casino's bankruptcy cases and even accused the company led by Mr. Trump of filing false reports with state casino regulators about the amount of taxes it had paid. But the year after Governor Christie, a Republican, took office, the tone of the litigation shifted. The state entertained settlement offers, and in December 2011, after 6 years in court, the state agreed to accept just $5 million. That's roughly 17 cents on the dollar of what auditors said the casinos owed. Now, casino bankruptcies and questionable tax deals aren't exactly welcome news for a presidential candidate, even if his name is Donald Trump. Then again, neither is an FBI investigation. Even though the Bureau closed the case about Hillary Clinton's private email server, the story just will not go away. The FBI handed over documents from the investigation to the House Oversight Committee. That includes the materials it collected before shutting the case. Plus, WikiLeaks could release more hacked emails, and those could include just about anything. Lots to pick through in this segment. But Mark, I want to start with Christie and the tax bills for the Trump casinos. It appears to be pretty unseemly, but the governor of a state has a lot of latitude in how it handles these kinds of cases. He hasn't done anything that smells of illegality.
No, I don't think so. I mean, to me, the thing that jumped out from the Times story was that the Trump Marina casino was sold for a grand total of $38 million. So the chance of the state being able to recover anything close to $30 million is it's like a unicorn. So they settled for a fraction and got what they could. Does the relationship between the two of them have anything to do with it? I don't know. Probably it does. Is it illegal? No, this is a reasonable litigation strategy that a party could make to cut litigation costs and recoup what they can. As you said, they'd been in court already for 6 years recovering nothing while he was stonewalling.
Dominic, to your mind, does that add any context to the relationship between Christie and Trump? I mean, it dates back well before, you know, they started hugging after the New Hampshire primary.
Well, now
if there was a hug there, I don't know that Donald would still be in the race right now.
Now we know why there was this love fest during the Republican debates between Christie going on the attack, doing the bidding of Donald Trump, and how they basically had a hands-off approach for the most part in terms of going after each other. You're the expert when it comes to the law, but boy, does this smell like a quid pro quo to me. I sat in the courtroom for Shelley Silver, Dean Skelos. I mean, think about this for a second.
Skelos got bail, by the way.
Right,
on the
right. And they both may walk maybe on the McDonald issue. But think about this for a second. Plexico Burress, the football player.
Where's this going?
Wait.
I'm ready for this.
Listen, this is very important. After all of his misfortunes of shooting himself and going to jail and going to prison and trying to reestablish his NFL career, Plexico Burress, about a year and a half ago, had a tax lien in the state of New Jersey, the same state we happen to be talking about, for $144,000, roughly, approximately. The state of New Jersey issued a full arrest warrant for Plexico Burress, and he had to hurry up and pay off this money. So you doggedly go after this man for $144,000. Trump walks for $30 million and only pays 17 cents on the dollar.
So what you're saying is that there's a difference between how government treats large corporations struggling through bankruptcies and they collect, and how they go after wealthy individuals or just regular working folks.
No, I am saying that. I am saying that. But let's keep in mind.
This is news?
Wait. Let's keep in mind, though, Trump and Christie, after the bankruptcy event, them with their wives went out to dinner. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing governors know nothing. Oh, I don't know anything.
It stinks, but I agree with the professor, and I defer to him as well, that this
tell my wife, please.
That's actually all I can do. That's it. That it is a legitimate trial and negotiation tactic to say, stall, there's a new governor coming in, maybe, let's see what we can do.
Listen, also, in his bankruptcy, the IRS was handling it, and there's no, I mean, under Christie's name as the U.S. attorney, but the IRS was
There's no
handling
messing
it.
with those guys.
And there was no specter of corruption there. They didn't collect anything either.
All right, let's go back to Trump and Clinton because they both have, I'll politely say, interesting,
Baggage? Little baggage?
interesting relationships with the truth.
Allergies?
I think that's a fair way to describe it. But Michael, what's the difference? The public doesn't view either one of them as being trustworthy. But what's the difference, or do you see a difference in their individual relationships with the truth and where they lie and how they choose to lie?
Oh, absolutely, there's a difference. And I'm not her biggest fan, but I think it does Secretary Clinton a tremendous disservice to compare them. And that's not an attack on you personally. I know it's out there everywhere. I just think that they're two completely different. That being said,
Go on.
Thank you, I will. That being said, Secretary Clinton has decades of experience in the trenches at the highest levels of government and politics, and understands that you can parse things and you can tell most of the truth and some of it and then backfill and then later you could clarify, and that's dodging and ducking and bobbing and weaving, and that's, I understand that comes across as distasteful. Trump, as I said before, just lies. You know, there's a difference between saying, you know, one thing is X when it's actually Y. It's another thing to say, well, sometimes it's X, but we're not sure today, and we're going to circle back to this and discuss what X really means. They're two completely different things. She's a politician. He's a lunatic.
But Mark, if Michael's take on that is right, that Hillary Clinton parses the truth for her own benefit and Trump issues these whoppers, why do you think the public sees them almost evenly when it comes to their distant relationship to the truth?
Well, because she's already had public office, and when you're disclosing state secrets in public office and potentially putting people's lives at risk, you can discount Trump's puffery as just preposterous campaigning, and everyone knows he's a salesman. The different standards are applicable to the two. Now, I think the biggest obstacle that Clinton's facing here potentially is Preet Bharara investigating right now the Clinton Foundation. And this is not going to be the hands-off. I mean, Comey is a guy who's beyond reproach, a G-man, a lawman for his whole career. This is a different animal here. Preet Bharara is a complete wild card.
Can he even do that after the Justice Department has washed its hands?
This is a different situation. This is not the emails. This is the relationship between this is pay for play. And this is right in his ideological wheelhouse at the moment. So if I were her, I'd be worried about that. The good thing is that's not going to be done before the election.
So Dominic, what is it about Trump? Is it that people have just sort of excused some of the lies that he tells as just his way of doing business or the way that he is? Is it that there's so many of them that it becomes hard to see the forest for the trees in this case?
Your assessment happens to be correct on each point. He does it so often.
It's like the boy who cried wolf, right?
Right. I hate to say if he opens
Different
his mouth,
standards
you
for
have
each
to assume. But I'm going to be honest with you, and this may not sit well. I almost believe that almost any time a politician opens their mouth, I'm skeptical. I'm not going to say that they're lying, but I am going to say that I'm skeptical. Yeah. Trump just has this. And when it's amazing because when a politician is telling you what you want to hear, you have a way, people have a way, voters have a way of looking the other way and excusing. So when Trump embellishes, let's use that word, embellishes the truth to the extreme, when it's red meat to the base, they don't care. They just want to hear the red meat.
Michael,
I'm sorry to add, I also worry that we view this through the lens of gender, that when she does it, she's lying, but when Bill Clinton did it, he was being wily or he was just being clever. And I worry that there's also a different standard here that's unfair.
I think they look at them as
vaguely
joined at the hip, though, and I think the people who like Trump, what the words that you used, backfill, trenches, stuff like that, they were inadvertently telling, because I think that's what the people who are flocking to Trump or were flocking to Trump, that's precisely what they'd want to get away from. So the more far-fetched, the more fantastical it is, the more beguiling it is, and the more entertaining it is, and the more directly contrary to the politics as usual it is, and people like that.
And it's not like people were giving a guy whose nickname was Slick Willie a pass on being truthful. Michael, is there any way to win back the trust of voters? If you're Hillary Clinton, or if you're Donald Trump for that matter, is there any way to actually improve your numbers when it comes to trustworthiness?
Anyone who knows me well knows I always say that elections are about choices. They're not just academic exercises. So yes, but that'll happen on election day when the choice is between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And winning forgives pretty much everything. So when she's president, it'll be, I expect, by a large margin, and then this conversation will just be a footnote.
And then it will be an academic conversation.
Exactly.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Aetna says it pulled out of most Obamacare exchanges because it was losing money. But was the reason more about political payback than about dollars and cents?